Right, today I want to talk about alternate picking and doing it while being super relaxed, which is something that most people really struggle with, because whenever you see someone alternate pick super fast, most of the time you see them dig in super hard and kind of brute force the whole thing. And you can watch all the mechanic videos on how this works, etc., and they might not help that much with the idea of developing a really relaxed fluid technique, and they'll help more with just the general motions of it. But once you've got those general motions, you hit a bit of a wall with everything, really, because you might be brute forcing things way too much. So first things first, how I do this with every single one of my students, and it always messes them up big time, but I really recommend trying to get used to it, is whenever you're even setting up to play, before you've even touched the guitar, touched the string, what I want you to do is just have in your mind the idea of keeping this hand super relaxed. So if I just relax my pick grip and relax my hand and relax my wrist, this is how the hand sits. Notice it's not straight on the bottom. Notice that it's more straight on the top with just like a slight fall off on the end here, right? That is how your hand sits naturally if you just put no tension into it. This is not correct. Okay, if your hand sits like this, you are already engaging some muscles here. I can feel them engage, they're tense there. So when you do that, you are already starting from a tense position. And what you want to do is apply that to the instrument. So if I apply that here, this is wrong. Okay, this is too much tension, and this is where most people start. So they start with an angle up here, which is going to cause a whole bunch of problems, which I'll get into later. But that one is where 90% of people start. So instead, you just want to drop the wrist and completely relax it. So that here is going to be your starting point. If that feels super weird, you need to work on it, because at the end of the day, the more relaxed your starting point is, the more accurate your technique is going to be. So if I then try and play through something on, let's say I just do a kind of pentatonic thing, what you'll notice is that at no point the hand comes up above this straight line here. So imagine you've got a straight line running from like your wrist all the way downwards to here. We don't want to hit that line with the upstroke or with any motion that brings us back up the guitar. So if you're playing through, it doesn't really matter what you're playing through, if it's 3-note string, 2-note string, whatever. It doesn't matter how fast I go, how difficult the passage is, or whatever it is. I'm trying not to do this. This is the big kind of faux pas, as it would be. And if you do this, the reason why that's so bad is that you're engaging and locking out the wrist and not allowing that to move freely. So then you've got to engage the arm to try and pick. So you end up doing something like this, which you have no control over and no dynamics, and it's a potluck whether or not you kind of get that right, or it sounds not great. So that is one of the number one things with alternate picking, is just focus on that and that straight line from here, and not coming up far enough to hit you can just about hit the straight line on the upstroke, but you don't want to go any further than that. As soon as I see this is bad. Equally, it's not that bad to hit the bottom of the range of motion of your wrist. So this is something that you can kind of think about if it helps, is you can try and make it so the downstroke kind of locks out the wrist the other side. Now the reason why that works is that doesn't actually engage any of these forearm muscles. If I do that, if I stretch there, it stretches the tendon on the top here a little bit, but you're not actually engaging the forearm in a way that's going to stop you playing. So if you want to get used to it, you can try and imagine yourself hitting that kind of wall where your wrist can't move any further, and extending the tendon over the top here, and you can feel it when you kind of push the string down like that. But everything acts through the bottom of that arc. So if you imagine you had an arc you're drawing in the air all the way down to here, you want to be operating in the very bottom of that, not at the top, and not like somewhere up here either. You want to be operating with like full extension, if that makes any sense. So give this a go with basic pentatonic stuff. So any pentatonics, do A minor pentatonic, Something like that, or give it a go with slightly more difficult alternate picking passages. Something like that, for example. I'm not 100% warmed up, so I'm still messing up a little bit, but the idea is, hopefully you can see, we're really trying to keep that straight line. Now it looks a bit different depending on the camera angle, so if I get the camera angle right so you can see it straight on, that's where we want to be. So you're really focused on keeping this as straight as possible, nice and relaxed. That will really help you playing, and it's really helped me be able to do a lot of the alternate picking lines I could already do, but do them more consistently and do them at speed comfortably. This is a really important part of this. This is not about speed. I can speed that up and do it really wrong. Like that. That's fast, but it sucks. It sucks because I'm hitting the strings too hard, I've got no dynamic control, and also I will mess that up like 5 times out of 10. So if I'm playing like this, I might be able to get it once in a while, but unless you want to just be an Instagram guitarist who only, you know, plays licks that they've managed to get after 500 takes, that's not going to cut it for live gigs. It's not going to cut it for live music. So make sure that, you know, that's the point of all of this. If you're trying to work on relaxation and consistency are exactly the same thing in my mind. So if you get a relaxed technique, you can do it every time. Give that a go and let me know how it goes.